Okay, so today we're going to learn how to do a light show in Show Express. And we're going to assume that we already have our fixtures patched. That will be covered in another video. So, where we want to start is make sure we have a new scene. And you can make sure that it's cleared out by pressing the new scene button. That will clear out any settings that you have. And we also want to turn on DMX. We turn this green. That's what allows our DMX signal to go out to our lights so we can see it in real time. So once we have our DMX green and we have a new scene set, the first thing we always want to start with not the spotlights. You never want to program the spotlights first. So in this case, I'm going to start with the slim pars, and I can do that by right click one of the slim pars and then selecting fixtures same model and then select all. So then now you can see that I have all the slim pars highlighted. There's none in Universe 2, so we don't have to worry about that. So I have all of them selected, and now if I change the values of one, then that's going to change all of them. So if I change red, then all the slim pars are going to be red because I have them all selected over here. So our standard for our show is the auto snap transition 7 colors. So we can set that by clicking here in this black square underneath the mode. So we click there and then we select auto snap transition 7 colors. Turn that. That sets our channel 6 to a value of 207. And then the last thing we need to do for the slim pars is turn the dimmer on. So we always turn the dimmer up to 100%. And we're going to do that by putting it up to 255. Crap, we're going to have to pause this. Alright, so now we can see that our slim pars are changing colors, and the 7 transition means that it changes through all the 7 colors in the spectrum: red, blue, green, purple, teal, yellow, and white. Alright, so slim pars are set. Now we will do the helicopter. So for these, we essentially run them on auto. So we have same thing to select the presets. It's similar to this. I mean, all these are going to be the same. So we have same process, just different variables. So you select this black square underneath auto, and then we're going to select pods, laser, SMD, and that basically just turns on all the features of the light to where it'll spin, the colors will change, and the laser will display. And then we also turn on the red and green alternate strobe just to get some more colors out of the lasers. And then now we need to do the same thing for Universe 2. And this is very important to do these first, because once we start programming the spotlights, then it's really hard to go back. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's really hard, but it takes a lot longer to go back and do this, because by the time we get through the show, we're going to have like 20 steps here, and we're not going to want to go back and do that. So it saves a lot of time to do this first, because now when we start adding new steps, they retain that information. So, but anyway, we're going to get into the steps and everything as we move along. So now let's go to the spot. And the first thing we always want to do is turn on the dimmer. Turn that up all the way. The shutter we're going to set to open. we're going to start off by pointing it straight down, which is if you select the only preset here on the Y, now we have our spotlight pointing straight down. So the main variables we're going to be using when we're programming the spotlight is pan, tilt, color, gobo rotate, prism, focus, and potentially movement macro, but that's a little bit more advanced. So first thing we want to do is identify our Irby gobo, and Roger always does a great job of changing out the same one, so I'm pretty confident if we select the metal complex, yep, looks like we have Irby. And then if you notice, when you first put it on the floor, it's really blurry because we have not focused it. So that goes to our variable here on channel 10 is the focus. And this part is where it's really important to be looking at the light as you're doing it, because every park is different and every angle is different, and the focus variable is not going to be the same even throughout the show. It can change. So it's just something that you just have to look and use a visual to see when it gets focused all the way. So as I slide this up, it becomes more focused, and I kind of see it gets perfect, and if I keep going it gets blurry again. So I just gotta kind of try to find that happy medium where it's the most clear picture possible, and then that is what we're looking for. So the next thing we can do is now decide, now that we have Irby and we know he's there, to decide where we want to put him to start the show. So in this case, just looking around here, it's right in the front and the middle. So in this case, we're going to start him right in the middle of the floor here. So we're going to use our Y. So basically the Y is moving the tilt of it, which is like the up and down, the Y axis, and then the X is what spins the unit around, or the what it's called pan. So we just have to adjust these things just as I'm looking until we get it in a spot that we like. That looks pretty good. Got it right in the middle of the floor here. And then now's where we can, more. All right, we're trying to move it over to the front door. Go all the way around. So, that looks pretty good, right? Oh, is it blocked? And you just gotta be careful, because sometimes you can have obstructions like here. There we go. So now we got Irby in the middle of the floor. And if we want to do some more interesting effects, one of the ones we have here is a prism. So we could select this right rotate under the, and if you ever forget these variables, all you have to do is just mouse over. So you could see movement, mode, strobe, dimmer, focus. So if you ever forget what these icons are, you can just mouse over it and double check. So we're going to do the prism, and we'll do the right rotate. We generally rotate things clockwise just because it's more aesthetically pleasing. And the default speed is very fast. So after I set that, I'm going to just knock it down a few to slow it down until I'm happy with it. And then once we get it to a good speed, we have our first step of the show. And now this is how we can start to build on it, is by creating more and more steps, and you can change the duration. So I have my step 1 here, and it's not named yet, so I'll double click and we can call it foyer. Really, it could just be whatever. It's just something that you can remember as you move along. You could even just name them 1, 2, 3 or ABC or something, just whatever you prefer. I like to name it things that is easy to remember. And then for the first step, we always want to do a really short duration, because that, when it gets to the end, that's what's going to allow it to just start over quickly. So step 1 should always just be 1 second. And then when we're ready to move to our next step, we're going to hit the insert button. And what that's going to do is create an exact duplicate of what I just did. So now I have 2 steps called foyer that tell the Spotlight to do the same thing. But what I want is to actually have it be, we're going to continue to have it change and do different things as we go. So for this first step, I'm thinking, okay, I like it spinning like this as Irby. We're going to go ahead and put this to be 20 seconds. This is a smaller park. In a larger park, you may be able to do 30, 45 second, even 1 minute durations on your steps. It just kind of depends what you want to do with it. And generally I stick to 15, 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds and for most of the steps, because it's just this more active light show, seems to catch people's attention, and the kids like to play around in the lights. So the more it's just moving around to different areas of the park is what people generally like to see. So maybe now we'll name this one, call it Irby, because we've got Irby on the ground. And then now it's going to be there for 20 seconds. And now I'm going to duplicate this, but instead of calling it Irby, we're going to call it Circles. And I'm going to change my gobo here to the 4 circles. And we still have them rotating. So now we can see that we've got all the circle lights here on the ground. And then let's say if I want to move the light over a little bit to cover some more area. So we're gonna hit our X, swing it over here, somewhere in the area where people will be playing, kids will be playing. And maybe we'll just stop it there. And now I'm going to show this part so I can illustrate how this actually works. So all I've done is just change the gobo and the x-axis, and I have a 20-second duration on this. So now if I want to practice the show, see what it looks like, we press play here. And then now we can see Irby's going to do this for 20 seconds. Then we're going to see it move to our next step. And if you notice, what happens is that it uses the full 20 seconds of the duration to move over. So if I want it to take 20 seconds to go from point A to point B, then that's how I leave it. and then it will just start back over at the beginning of the show when it gets to the end. Now, if this is where a very important concept comes in, which is a transition. So let's say if I don't want it to slowly travel to that next location, if I want it to just move there quickly, then it'll essentially be the same process, but just slightly different. I'm going to show you right here. So also, we like to change the gobos up. Like I said, this is kind of just preference of what you like or what the particular owner might like in that situation. But generally like to kind of be switching the gobo throughout the show. So we're going to go ahead and start with a new scene. And I'm going to go ahead and call this one Flower. Oh my gosh, so my R key broken. So now we have this named. I lost my spot. So now we're going to select it again, and we're going to select our Flower gobo. And for this one, I am going to turn off the prism, so we just have one flower. And now we're going to start getting into colors and rotation of the gobo. So if I want to have multicolor, we're going to do the right rotate option. So this is what changes the color of the gobo. And when I select right rotate, we'll see that it begins to rapidly cycle between all of our colors. And then with the kind of the shape of this gobo, because it's like a fan or flower shape, it looks good spinning. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for our gobo rotation, our channel 8 variable here, and we're going to select right rotate. And again, starts off a little bit fast. Try not to give a kid a seizure here, so we're going to slow it down just to 80. And again, this can be your preference, and some people might like it going really fast, and it's just generally an urban area. Too much strobing or fast moving things are usually not the ideal. So once I have the gobo I like, I want to go ahead and move it where I want. So I kind of want to come into the park. And you can always create sort of a theme, like maybe this theme is, we got the Irby in the front, and then we have the white circles, and maybe we're kind of leading people into the park here. So we're kind of guiding them into the attraction area. It's just a random idea that I had. It's not anything. It could be whatever you want. So, but this is the important thing of a transition. So if I don't want that flower to take 20 seconds to get from over there to over here, what I need to do is the same thing is going to be insert a scene, right? But instead, I'm going to call this one transition. This is going to be my transition scene. And just like how we did on that first step, what we want to do is make this a duration of 1 second. So that way, what that does is instead of it using the 20 seconds to move, it'll move in 1 second, and then it will sit static in this position for 20 seconds. So I'm going to stop the thing, and we're going to play the show again so we can see what this looks like in real time here. So we started on our circles step, and then as we see, we're traveling over in front of the Adventure Hub, and then boom, flower moves immediately over here, and now it's going to sit in this one spot for 20 seconds instead of the 20 seconds. If I didn't create that transition, what we would have had was the flower slowly moving over here for about 20 seconds. So that's a critical thing for the show, to be able to kind of feel more alive. Because if you want to just be boring and have it and not add the transitions, it just feels a lot more deadpan, and this just kind of gives it some of that emotion. And especially when the music is playing, just some of those faster movements, and especially when you get a really good location. I don't know, there's just a time and a place for both, and the more you start to do these, the more you'll get an eye for it and just start to come up with little tricks of your own as well. So now we're gonna keep moving along. In this case, I know we have the Skyrider right here, except we're not in really the best spot to be able to see it. I don't know, I guess we're just gonna put it up there. That'd be good. Even though, let me see. Okay, so what I did there was actually get up and look from the front door. It's a really important thing to note whenever you are making a show like this, is you just got to think about it from the perspective of who's going to be looking at it. In this case, the perspective of the customer. So it's one thing to make an owner happy or make another contractor or impress somebody, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the customers that you want to really wow with this, and that's who counts. So you always want to have things that are visible from the front door. So here, what we're going to do is go on to the Skyrider landing, because we can see it really well from the front door. As soon as you enter, you'll see Irby up there. So we're going to add another step. We're going to call this Sky Rail. And then I'm going to proceed to make my adjustments here. First, I just got to get it over. That's again why it's so important to do this in real time, because these variables are just different on every single angle in every park. That actually looks pretty sweet. See, and that's the cool part too, is as you're going, a lot of times you'll find things that you didn't expect. So when you're going to find one spot, you might shine it in this corner and then see that it looked really cool over there, and now you want to do that. So I think I actually end up liking this flower on the Skyrail so much that I'm probably going to keep it there for at least a time. Honestly, I want it to be centered. So this is an important, kind of a minor thing for fine tuning. So this X U-pan, basically, so right now what's happening is, I guess I could show this. So see, it's not really centered there on the Skyrider, and when I move it one, then it goes too far to the right, so I can't really get it perfect. So what you can actually do is, this is like this whole thing is one notch on the other one. So if I want it to move halfway, basically this moves it. This is like equivalent to 100.5. So now we have it perfectly centered on there. And, you know, kind of a nitpicky thing, but so anyways, we're actually liking this so much right now that we're gonna go ahead and do both. I'm gonna have it slowly travel. So this is still gonna be my transition, but this is gonna be a longer transition this time. So we're gonna have it slowly move up there and then sit there for 20 seconds because it looks so cool. And we're even liking this spot so much, we're gonna go ahead and put Irby there too. We'll call this one Skyrail Herb. And select our Irby. But you know, he doesn't actually look too good rotating up there, so we're gonna go ahead and just make him crooked. So this is where the rotate comes in. So if we noticed earlier when we set the gobo rotate, we did the automatic right rotate setting. It's not what we're going to do this time. Instead, what we're going to do is just gradually notch this up, and each time I change it, it's slightly rotating that gobo until he is straight. And honestly, I feel like that looks so good, I don't even really care that you can't see the words because that looks really cool. And that's the beauty with these 20-second steps like this is you don't have to get it perfect. It doesn't have to be this, oh my god, the absolutely perfect spot. It's just find some good spots that look cool and then just find a bunch of them, and that's going to do more for you than hunting down to try to find this perfect spot, because most of the time there's so much stuff up in the ceiling and there's so many obstacles. There's going to be people moving around in this park. Like, you just want to give it as much variety and creativity that you can without overthinking it. There's just a point of you just got to have fun with it, I think. So from here we will want to go into the adventure hub. So no, wait, I did one too many. So that's a good point. So what I did here is I accidentally duplicated an extra one that I didn't need. So what I'll do is just hit the scissors here and just delete. So now it's gone. So I like the Skyrail Irby, and then we're gonna go ahead and move it over just a bit into the interior of the adventure hub here. And now this is the old thing that we've been doing called going crazy. We're gonna go ahead and just put everything up. We're gonna go ahead and set the gobo to rotation mode. We're gonna set the prism on, and then that's basically it. That's going crazy. Now we have all the different shapes just flashing, lighting up this whole adventure hub, and just a kind of a cool effect. Again, that's just clearly visible right when you're walking in the door. I actually really like that. And you know what the heck, in this case, this one's pretty cool. We don't always get this good of a view of the adventure hub here, or an angle, I guess I should say. We're gonna go ahead and make this one 40 seconds, twice as long as all the others, because it's twice as good. And we're gonna call this, it's called soft play. I kind of gotta think. I think I like bringing it across the ropes course. Like just kind of like. So, and create our new scene. Call this ropes. Oh, and I did, if you did notice, I didn't make an extra transition for the our soft play step because I really wanted, I wanted it to kind of slowly move so you can just illuminate that whole area. And actually, you know, on second thought, let's go ahead and do it this way. Let's do a 20-second. We'll keep it the 40 seconds, but we'll just make one of them a transition. What? Oh, the wings. What? So we're going to go ahead and make this transition. Because this still keeps the essence of that 40 seconds, but now we have 20 seconds of slow movement and 20 seconds of no movement. So as you can see there. And now we want to do ropes course. So let's pick a new gobo. We don't want to be going crazy anymore. Gonna do, turn off our prism. It's a good one. We could do these. We do these. I don't know. I call them the spades. I really don't know what that shape is actually supposed to be, but we'll do the spades, and then we're going to rotate, and we're gonna slow it down a little bit. It's always too fast, and I'm just gonna check out how that looks with a prism. I don't know. What do you think? Is it? Kind of like that one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and use this prism. But basically, it doesn't really have different names. I don't even know what to call them, but each of these is just a different function of the prism. It's just similar, just visually a little different. So now that I've got that the way I want, I'm gonna go ahead and move it. I think that looks sweet, actually. That really is the best thing about this, is once you keep going and kind of get the hang of it, you can really just use your imagination and just figure out cool stuff. It's like every show is just completely unique. I've never done one quite like this before, and I actually think that this looks pretty insanely cool. I'm getting actually the entire warrior course with that. So let's just keep it going. Go all the way around this landing. And probably by the time we get to this corner. The one thing to remember as far as with the front door, it's good to have things that are visible from the front door. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go back that way. We want to have things that are visible from the front door, but we do not want to shine the light in people's eyes. It's super bright, so don't point it at the front door. We never want to point it directly at the front door, because then what happens is people walk in and they're blinded by it. So we want the effect of the light to be visible from the front door, not the light pointing directly at the front door, ever. So this one's actually not really just ropes course. It's actually become just going all over the place. So we're gonna call it spades. And when you get these really, really good ones, this is actually a rare occasion where you get a really, really good location of the spotlight. I'm gonna go ahead and really crank up the duration on this one. I'm actually gonna make this 80 seconds, because when you get a really good pathway like that, then it just gets the whole park. And when it moves really, really, really slow across the whole park like that, it's just, you just can't beat it. It's just such a good effect. So in that process, I did notice we hit a couple of attractions. So we got the ropes course covered pretty well here. We don't really want to hit bumper cars for safety purposes, but feel like the leap of faith is looking pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Call this one leap. And we definitely don't want this. It's actually pretty rare. I'm gonna do that long of a step. No, we'll go back to our 20-second. That's the best thing to do. Just kind of establish a baseline of, like, this is a 20-second step show, and then when I find a really good spot, like in soft play, then I'll do 40 seconds. So when we found this cool spade scene, then we're gonna go ahead and do 1:20. And now we're gonna go to leap of faith. So let's go ahead and get our gobo reset here. Go to white. So I want to do a big white circle. Oh, no, that's a little much. I might actually not do the. I just want it on the leap of faith. That's pretty good. All right, and then for this one, I do want a transition because I don't want it to slowly move over there. I just want it to move quickly. So we're gonna do our 1 second duration. All right, so now we're over on our leap of faith. And now I'm thinking that we have a really good warrior course, and we haven't seen Irby make an appearance in a while, so we're going to go ahead and bring him back into things. Let's call this War for Warrior Course. I'm going to make my adjustment here while I'm watching in real time. Now we've got couple of obstructions. I've actually got a huge sky rails completely blocking. Let's have to see. Go to Irby. Ooh, that actually does. It's not getting blocked. Alright, now I've already illustrated some of these concepts. I'm just going to be doing this now so this video doesn't last too long. Straighten him out here, and go down. And boom, now we got Irby on the side of the warrior course. And honestly, we're just getting it. This is not super common that I'm going to find this great of spots, so we're gonna put him here for a minute because these locations are just too good. So we're gonna do a transition, but now here's a new thing to introduce. Is I like the way that would look, but one really cool thing you can do with these transitions is spinning and moving. People really like the spinning and moving because it's like Irby's like rolling around. So So go ahead and put it back to our 80. We're going to do that. So when he moves now from Leap of Faith, I probably should show this just quickly. When he moves from Leap of Faith over to the Warrior Course, see, he's actually spinning while he's moving. He hits that rock climbing wall really nicely. Hits the floor a little bit. And then it's going to kind of gradually spin, make his entrance over here to the Warrior Course. So definitely pretty happy with that. It's going to sit there for a minute and feel like we're getting towards the ending here. We've got a pretty long, 15 steps isn't a super long amount of steps, but we have a couple of really long steps in there. So I feel good about it. Just trying to think of one last thing we can do on this one. Oh, I was thinking, okay, I have like 3 ideas. So I'm thinking have it come down this hallway and then go there, and then I was going to put it up above the front door as the very end. So anyways, so this is the part now we'll go ahead and have it come down this hallway here. Oh yeah, I forgot to hit stop. Always make sure to hit stop before you go back to editing again. So we'll call this one Hall. And you got to remember too, these people do pay extra for Irby. So the other gobos are cool. Oh, I don't think he's going to be able to spin down that hallway. Yeah, he ain't gonna. Okay, we got too many obstructions, so our spinning down the hallway thing ain't gonna go. But we can do our second Skyrail landing. We'll actually have to get up for it because I'm not gonna be able to see. I guess I will kind of be able to. What is gonna be the best way to do this? Here, let's just show this from another perspective. This kind of shows you that you really want to. You're just going to have to be moving around the park while you do this. And that's basically where I want to have them. So I'm going to show myself bringing my laptop and doing it. And there we have it. Couldn't get him on the side that I had originally planned, but I'd say that looks pretty good. So I actually like it white there, but I think what I want to do is Definitely want to make him spin. So we'll do our rotate, slow him down. And you know, that's kind of the ending of our show, so we'll go back, do something a little more interesting here. We'll do 10 seconds. But we'll kind of move him back and forth. So we're gonna do like 4 of these. And then we'll just slightly that's too far. Oh no, actually I like that. Just put him there. And he'll move there. And then we'll just have him move back. And just do it a little different each time. Just start there. Go back. Go forward. Go off the edge just a little bit. Alright, and we'll kind of show what this looks like. So he starts over here at Warrior Course. It's going to take 10 seconds to move over here to our Scar Rider. And then it's just going to kind of be this effect of him moving back and forth here for about 30 seconds or so. And again, just anything you can do to just make it kind of feel dynamic, alive, just, you know, even if it goes off the edge just slightly there, I don't know, it just gives it more of that kind of alive type of feeling of, you know, it's not just moving around at one constant speed and just doing expected things. It's just kind of a little bit more random. I really think that also spinning and moving, just everybody loves spinning and moving, so the more you can incorporate spinning and moving, I would say the better. And I'm feeling pretty good about this, so we're going to go ahead and do our grand finale here. And I saw a pretty cool spot above the door. Just going to call it door. I'm not letting my camera do a very good job, so I've copied one more step. Door. Make my adjustments. Actually, I want to do it above the front desk. There's too much stuff in front of that door anyway. Alright, door. This turned into something a little bit different than what I expected, but basically I'm going to have him do a full circle around the park one more time, so it's going to be a pretty insane show. Alright, so then he's going to go all around the store, and, well, here, I need to not. So anyways, we got our 1 minute last door show. It's going to go in a full circle and basically kind of end back at the beginning. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit our save scene. We're gonna save as a daily light show. So you're probably gonna have a daily light show saved in there, but that's just your test scene that I program at the shop. So that's just gonna be your Slim Pars Red, blah, blah, blah. So it's not gonna be anything. So you just overwrite it. So just select daily light show, save. Now you can hit your new scene. So when I hit new scene, now we're completely cleared out. Turn off our DMX because we're out of programming mode. Now we're going to go into live mode and we're going to watch the show. That's actually going to be in another video, though, so I just don't want this video to be like an hour long. So, ending here.